Just good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and invited guests. And I would like to thank Dermot there and Parnells Club for inviting me to speak here tonight, because I wouldn't be used to speaking, and I'd say anyone that knows me is probably sick of hearing me speaking. So, and on saying that there, Dermot's kind of a hard act there to follow. That was like Paul, the speech he had. And no, I'm here tonight to speak about probably a very controversial topic, and something that's it's very tough on the GA there. It's one of their hardest tasks, and that is fixtures. And one also there, I would like to congratulate Dermot on becoming the new chairman there at Tralee Parnells. I just forgot about it, and he's been one of the founding members of it there. I've always been in touch with him there as long as since I had started up, and going from strength to strength there every year, and I wish him all the best, and working very hard there, himself and David there, and all the rest of the gang. So all the best to them. Now, I suppose really to talk about fixtures and where I come from, I probably should start at the beginning, like you do with all fixtures. You probably start at the start of the year and try and work it out from there on in. You have to have a plan. If you don't, you're going nowhere. So when I was an underage player myself, when at the age of 8 or 9, there would have been no blitzes or anything like there is now. You'd probably be 12 years of age before you play your first match, and even that time you'd be playing more football maybe than hurling. But in the early 80s there, we'll say, as I would have come along, things did improve big time there. There was way more underage matches and everything, and it was a great way to spend your childhood being involved with the GA, playing hurling and football, to be quite honest. And as the man says, it's why I got back involved as a coach in underage, and because to try and put back in some of the time that I would have got out of myself and some of the fun. And I would have also done a bit of reffing, and I didn't do it very long because I don't think I was very good at it, and I had the wrong temperament for it anyway, to be quite honest. And probably as a delegate there, going to the Kerry board and things like that. So eventually you come along and maybe you wind up being chairman of your own local board and oak club. And we had a fella named Dorney there, Tom Healy. It was a case of if Tom gave you a job, you had no choice but to do it, and there was no saying no to him. So he told me one day there that it's your turn now, you're chairman of the board and oak, off with you. So I had no choice but to go and do it. And one thing led to another, then I wound up, we'll say, being chairman of the Cushman Logan North Kerry. And on that, as the man says, I canvassed hard for that job, as you can imagine. There was a lot of candidates for it. So, as the man says, I would then have, luckily enough then, John Hannafin there is actually the man that probably should be here tonight speaking about fixtures, because he would be the fixture secretary. I'd be just the chairman, but we sit down at the start of every year there and try and go through our fixtures. I remember the very first year there we were involved, I think around July, we had a fixtures booklet. I had to throw it away because every game that was on it had been changed, and every game for August and September was changed as well, so the booklet was no more good. We had to go in and write new fixtures, and I found this desperate frustrating altogether. And also, people were going to matches there, they would love to see underage finals, everything, and you must have met 7 or 8 people in the first year, and as you're the chairman, you're the person to give out to. They said, we came to see this final Friday night and couldn't play it at all. And that happened on several occasions, and I kind of knew then that fixtures is your major job as the chairman, and also for the secretary. And to be fair, like I said before, John Hannafin there being excellent, very sharp at the fixtures. We just moved along there, and probably the biggest thing we done was we encouraged clubs there to put their matches, bring their matches forward if they had any problem in playing them. Now, at the start, this didn't work very well. Clubs would be raging. The concept of bringing a match forward rather than putting it back was something kind of new, I suppose, really. But to be fair, I noticed there the last couple of years, a lot of the women and mothers and things have got involved there running the underage clubs. And to be fair to them, they're way more organised than men. And that is a fact, because most North Kerry board and oak clubs have now got women involved with their fixtures. If the communion is clashing with matches, if there's a school trip coming up, anything like that, they're well on top of it. And they sit down at the start of the year, and they have it well marked out, well in time, and they're well ahead. They'll mark it out 3 or 4 weeks beforehand. They'll get onto the club they're playing, they'll bring their match forward. And that really has made an awful difference to the fixtures, because this year there, no, I'd say to be fair, the fixtures booklet for the underage, it was probably 95% correct, which is as good as we'll get now. Ger Hannafin, to be fair to him, is a bit of a perfectionist. He'd like to have it 100% correct, but nearly all the games, bar a couple that were brought forward, were played as per Orla, and so were the finals that were all played in the nights that were down for. I think there was only just one under 12 blitz. It clashed with the Christy Ring final. We had to change that. That was about it. So and to be fair, more people start turning up to the finals if they know and they read it, and you can go to the radio as well and ask them to call it out. Because I remember a couple of years ago there actually getting Tommy Connor there, or somebody might contact the radio for us to announce an underage final, and next thing the final would be cancelled on Thursday night, it was on Friday night, and Radio Kerry come back to say, don't come to us no more with fixtures there. He says you're not playing them. But no, hopefully that'll change, and we'll be able to go to him in future, and we'll know definitely when we announce as a final on that he will go ahead on that date. And to be fair, I think in previous years the biggest problem I find there with the fixtures was that we'll say some fella come in there, he'd be over the under 12 or the under 14 team, and he'd have it all off, and he was in charge and he was going to do a better job than anybody else, and he'd get on to his delegate or whatever, we're playing such and such a team next week, you have to get that off now, we're not ready for him. And when asked would he be able to play it, the answer would probably be when we're good and ready, and that was what was happening with fixtures, and I think everybody knows that. And the same person, probably, I've seen this happen, would probably be sitting in the bar at Christmas time after coming back from the Juvenile or the intermediate final, which was probably called off in September and wound up having to be played St. Stephen's Day, and you'd see the same person sitting inside the bar, and he'd announce all and sundry that the whole county board and district board and the whole that they should all be sacked, he says, for playing a match that day. And you'll be wondering then, why do you wind up playing that day? And that's exactly what was happening. And it still happens. It happens to this day. It happens at senior. The senior fixtures this year, it happened a lot in it. And it's not the people who put out the fixtures. It's the people who run the clubs that do this. And the attitude will have to change, definitely, because you must remember, we are now competing with more sports than ever. I remember when I was a young fella, there was football, there was hurling, you might have played a bit of soccer, and your only other distraction might have been Man United or something like that. But nowadays, we have boxing, rugby, basketball, you name it, a new sport seems to come along every year. The Olympics are on, something new will come up, all the kids will want to go playing it, and that's the way kids are. When they see something new, they want to go doing it. And also then, on top of that, you have to compete with the football fixtures. So to be fair, the county board do give us a window of opportunity to play our games, and it's up to us to use those fixtures and make sure we take them up, because if you do go clashing with football in Kerry, as we know, it's one of the major football counties. It's probably the most major football county. You're not going to win if you're going head to head with football. So you have to use the time given to you to play your hurling games. And to be fair, it's up to ourselves. We've no one to blame, only ourselves if we don't do that. We can be given out about football or whatever, or county boards or all that. I think everybody here tonight has actually touched on this. It's down to hurling people themselves to help hurling to grow. And Dermot might be a bit right there in what he said, that maybe we're a bit greedy with hurling in North Kerry. I think the next thing we are, you'll be even talking to a few people there, and they might say that oh, that could be bad news for the rest of us now, having a strong team like that in Tralee in a couple of years down the road, that might destroy us. It isn't. It's quite the opposite. It's going to do more for hurling in the county, and if maybe 4 or 5 more teams came along, the better the teams you're playing against, you know yourself you have to up your game and compete with them. So that is a good thing. Now, a lot of people kind of think today they're kids and things that they're way more distracted than we probably were, I suppose, with Xboxes, iPads, tablets, social media, you name it. You'll be wondering, would kids stay playing any longer? But I can remember back when I was about 10 years of age, a fella would have called to our house, same man, the glass would always be half empty, and he'd never have a good word to say about anything. But I remember a statement he made that, yeah, right, he says in 3 or 4 years' time, he says there'll be no ball puck, there'll be no fella playing hurling. He says, since them feckin' televisions have come into every house now, and all the young lads are doing is watching them. And to be fair, no, I suppose it is way over 30 years ago or whatever, well, it is more than that, to be fair. But thanks be to God, he was wrong anyway. So when people look at all the new gadgetry and all the other distractions kids have, hopefully it'll be the same thing. coming down the road there that they'll still be playing in 30 years' time, and it's up to us to ensure that they do. The only other thing there, I was just saying there, we got to be the praise there. We'll say, if myself and John Hannafin got to be the praise there for all the fixtures and everything when run off perfectly during the year and everything. Next year they might all go upside down, you don't know. But to be fair, the praise, we don't deserve the praise. The praise has to go to the clubs and the people working on them that are so organised now and make sure they have their teams there to play everything. We're only there to put out the fixtures and facilitate them and hopefully guide them and make sure they're played. But at the end of the day, it's down to the clubs, and all of them have been excellent this year. We've had our board and org meetings there and everything. The delegates have come in and they're very well organised, and it is actually a pleasure to go to them. I actually look forward to them. There's a board and org meeting. We don't hold that many, but it's always good humour. There's rarely ever a row, and everybody seems to go home happy from it. So on that note, there, I would probably like to finish because I don't really have much more to say. I'm accustomed to public speaking, so thanks very much for your time.